So a big new and you might think disturbing report is out from Which, the consumer publication today. It calls for action to tackle what they call punitive charges that can be levied by banks for customers who unexpectedly go into the red. Apparently, the interest rate charged and the fines charged are worse than that of some of the more unscrupulous payday loan companies. Let's put this in perspective now, courtesy of Jasmine Birtles, financial expert from MoneyMagpie.com. Good morning, Jasmine.
Hello, Paul.
Now, as a student, a couple of times I went over my tiny overdraft limit and got whacked with a £5 fine, but that was back in the late 70s, early 80s. What kind of amounts are we talking about these days if you go into the red?
Well, it's really quite a lot. I mean, for example, according to this Which survey, you could go £100 overdrawn, into an unauthorised overdraft and end up paying 156 for it, which is, more than payday loans, they're saying. And I've certainly heard of people being charged £6 a day, and somebody else who got charged when she didn't know about it and ended up with a £700 bill. And this is a student, So here and there are huge amounts being levied against people quite often who haven't got the money coming in to keep their bank account really in the right place where it should be.
Now, I think I might be saying payday loans were capped back in 2015, the interest rates of them. Do we need some kind of change in legislation about bank late payments or bank overdrafts?
Yes, well, this is certainly what Which is saying, that we need to have some sort of caps. And they're particularly talking about unauthorised borrowing, because, of course, a lot of people will have, say, maybe £100 overdrafts allowed to them, so you can keep sort of dipping into that. It might get charged a bit, but not a lot. It's when you go over that. So they're saying that, yeah, sure, we shouldn't be going over that, but we shouldn't be being charged insane amounts if we do. So they're saying put a cap on it.
And of course, if you're overdrawn in the red and you get a fine, all the bank is doing is pushing you further into the red.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. And, some people are saying, well, the whole system should be changed, because at the moment we have apparently free banking, which works well if you have money coming in regularly and you're good at managing your money so you don't dip into any unauthorised overdrafts. But that means that it means that the poor, disadvantaged, and certainly those who aren't very good at running their money are supporting the rest of us. So, for some time now, quite a few organisations have been saying, look, we should have paid-for banking to make it fairer. So you have an upfront fee, which happens in most other countries,
sure,
let's be honest. And so, you can see, okay, those are the fees. So then you don't get these essentially really sneaky fees that various banks will put on in order to make money, because they are business.
And is it worth writing to complain to risk the cost of a stamp? Because are these charges ever overruled by the bank? Do they realise they might have been a bit harsh?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've definitely had an experience of going over the overdraft limit and thinking, then I get a £25 fine, and I'll phone them up and say, look, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean to do that, it happened, blah, blah, blah. And they often go, well, in that case, just to keep you happy, well, they don't say that, we'll get rid of that. So you can actually do it, and I always recommend that people just phone up and say, look, as you can see, I don't normally do this, but I had, whatever excuse it was, and could you take it off? And quite often they will. So, I do recommend that.
Sound advice there, as ever, from Jasmine Birtles from MoneyMagpie.com, talking to me, Paul Ross, about the news this morning that overdraft charges by some banks are higher than those from payday lenders.